All right. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you for getting back in here. I don't know what was going on there with the original session, but we're good now. Obviously, everybody can hear me. We're good to go. I was initially saying before, 2 weeks ago we had Kim Vesco here for the student stage. A lot of great information. Before that, we had Dehydrated Henry. Again, just fantastic person, great information. And now this week, we are happy to bring on a a frequent member of both the original Discord and the premium Discord. He's very active in both servers, so you guys definitely have seen his name around. That is none other than Jack Lee or JL Trades. He has a number of aliases. So hopefully, you guys, or at least most of you, have a decent idea of who he is and the kind of insight that he brings to our community. Without further ado, I will let him introduce himself. So, Jack, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, White. Thank you for that little
Perfect.
intro.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you all
thank
hear
you.
me?
Yes, can everybody hear him? Let's make sure I see
Submit.
yeses. All right, it looks like we're good. So I think everything's squared away with everybody hearing us.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I obviously want to start off by saying thank you for coming on, and I wanted to, start off by giving you a chance to just introduce yourself to everyone, let everyone know, what's going on with you in terms of, how trading, fits into your daily lifestyle, and maybe what you do for work, and just you as a person. Just let everybody know who you are, and what they can come to understand when it comes to your analysis.
Yeah, totally. Well, first off, thank you guys for joining and taking the time out your own day to jump on this stage and kind of hear about my story. Um, just before I start, can I quickly share my screen? I've got a little, a few slides of just topics I want to talk about, so everyone can kind of
Absolutely. All
see
right,
what I'm talking about at some points.
should be good to go
Share my
now.
screen. Wicked. Can everybody see my screen or the screen that I've got on there now?
All right, I can see it now. Yes, just let's make sure everybody else can see it. Everybody, I see some yeses. Yes, sir. Okay, thumbs up. Looks like we're good.
Wicked. All right then. So yeah, guys. So who am I? I think that is the first question. So if you don't know me, my name that I go by on Discord is either Jack Lee or JL Trades. Um, Fun fact, that is actually they're both obviously aliases. My real name is Dylan. For anyone that didn't know that. Um, and yeah, that's kind of who I am. So I'm 22 years old. I'm from London, um, born and bred. And yeah, I got into trading the start of this year in March. So March, the beginning of March of 2024 is when I got into trading. Um, just a little bit of background before I get into the whole trading idea. It's as I'm 22, if you know the kind of English academic scheme, so say, you go to secondary school, college, and then university. So out of college, I did something called an apprenticeship. So I went into a network engineering apprenticeship where I'm now for the past year in a full-time network engineering role. Um, I'm quite fortunate enough to be able to spend 4 days of the week remotely at home. So I have a lot of time at a desk. And that kind of brings me on to my next slide, which is hopefully you guys can see that as well, is my journey. I kind of want to take you guys through the start to kind of paint a picture. So yeah, my trading journey, it started back in, as I said, March, the first week of March, and I came into trading pretty much with no prior knowledge. I didn't know anything. The reason I got into trading, it was one day I was sitting at my, the video is loading for me, can't see the screen. Can anyone else see the screen? It should say from the start.
Uh, I see the screen. It looks fine to me. I see a lot of people saying we can.
Cool.
Screen is good. We see it. Yeah, it looks like most people can see it.
Wicked Congo. Just try disconnect, reconnect. But so yeah, where was I? Sorry. So yeah, as I said, I work from home 4 days a week, and I was at a point in my job where I would have a lot of free time, and I would sit at my desk, and I have a window next to my desk, and I was just thinking about ways I could make money, and just looking at outside at the sky, and I kind of envisioned myself abroad, living like financial freedom, and I wanted to find a way to do that. And I've tried the routes of drop shipping, all of that sort of stuff, and that's never really worked out. And it just popped into my head when I was just staring outside the window trading. I knew obviously what forex was from social media and stuff, so I got to YouTube, and I just started searching up random videos, understanding what forex was. I understood like what it was, like just charts stuff. I never understood it. I didn't know any concepts, nothing. I didn't know what ICT was. So the first week of that March, I kind of just played around with charts, trading view, stuff like that. And it wasn't until I would say the first week finished is when I actually came across Ash's YouTube. His YouTube channel, and I think he was starting the unicorn playlist at that time, if I remember vividly. So I joined the Discord, and I started from the bottom. I knew no concepts. I didn't know what ICT was. I was still confused with all of the concepts, and I just pretty much from that second week in March, I non-stop every day that I had free art from work, if I wasn't busy with any projects, I'd spend my time note-taking, studying Ash's YouTube channel, going through previous live streams, constantly going other YouTube channels that I still do to this day. And I'd spend a lot of my time in the evenings as well. Sometimes I'd be awake till 2 a.m. just studying, and I did this for about a month and a half, about a month and a half to 2 months. So this brings us to kind of like the end of April. So at the end of April, I in that time I understood like what swing points were. Like not really, but I kind of understood, and I kind of understood the model. I could kind of differentiate. I can't say that word. Jesus. I could kind of spot out what a
Differentiate. Yeah, yeah.
that's the one. So I could kind of spot out what a breaker block was and stuff like that. Sometimes it was difficult and I didn't know. But coming towards the end of April, I went traveling. It was only 18 days. I went to Thailand and Singapore, and I at the time was only trading forex, and I was with FTMO. I didn't really trust these other prop firms like Apex, My Funded Futures, My Funded Forex. Is like I didn't really trust them because I thought, yeah, like that's too cheap. There's no way.
Right.
So I went with FTMO. It was really, really expensive. And while I was backpacking um, in Asia from my phone, I didn't have a laptop or anything. I was doing my phase 1 and phase 2 out there, and I ended up passing phase 1. And then about 2 or 3 days later, I think it was, or maybe even a week later, I can't remember. I ended up passing phase 2, and that got me to the live account on FTMO. And it was funny because I was on a motorbike going up this big long hill on a tiny island, and I got to the top of that hill, and it was the most amazing view. And I was on my bike at the time while the trade was active, and it was just the best feeling seeing the money that I was making, which I saw it as I could be making that money on a live account, and I saw where I was present on this mountain, sunset, like it was beautiful, and that kind of got me more hooked. But yeah, skip a few months, I ended up blowing that account. That was my first ever live account I had. I ended up blowing it. I thought that was it. I was set. I've learned a lot along the way. So that was my initial journey.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got also any questions, guys, while I'm talking, please ask away. So I'm doing my best to not skip anything. So yeah, when I got back from traveling and after blowing that account, I think at some point, like a few weeks after that, I think it was the end of May, to be honest. I think that's when I switched over to futures. So I stopped trading forex. I haven't traded forex since, and I've just been trading futures. So commodities as well, so CL, NQES. And I got to say, it's probably one of the best decisions I've made to like continue my learning journey,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's not manipulated. Like there's all the benefits of futures. I'm not going to go into that, But yeah, I traded, I guess. Um, can you talk about your current situation, like how much you developed since you started? How do you trade? Yeah, I'll get into that later. I just want to give you guys kind of a background, but yeah, a few months in, come to about July, the start of July. Um, I was continuously just trading the unicorn model. That's the only model I kind of traded, and I made obviously a lot of mistakes on the way, guys. I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't blown 5 accounts. I've blown a lot of accounts to get to where I am today, and I've learned a lot along that way. But yeah, going to July again, that's when with Apex I was able to get my first payout uh, ever from Apex. It was a $3,000 payout that I got mid-July, and when that money, so you guys can understand, because I don't know who here hasn't had a payout and who's still working towards it. When the payout hits your bank account, it is a very, very weird feeling. It's like an addiction. Like you can't go back. I can't go back just to a 9 to 5 job and not want to like have a secondary income, such as trading or whatever secondary income people do for a little small business or whatnot.
Right, three
It's
thousand
very
dollars
hard.
just appeared in your account, and you're going, "Well, I didn't do
Exactly.
anything really different in my day to day other than this skill that I've been working on." It's just fine.
Exactly
The
that.
finally it's finally showing that like all of your efforts have been going towards something that are actually going to benefit you in a real way, and it's just like that. Like you said, it's like that. It's almost like a euphoria kind of feeling that you don't want to feel because you don't want to feel like, oh, I could just do this forever, because you want to stay focused and stay locked into the process. But like you said, it's that weird feeling of like, why am I not doing this all the time? Like I should be getting these all the time. And it's just like you said, it's addicting, and it makes you want to just keep going and keep growing.
No, I totally agree. And like you also have to put in my perspective is that I'm working, as I said, I'm very fortunate to work from home.
Right.
I'm
Yep.
working at home and I have a setup that allows me to look at my work stuff and the charts at the same time. And I'm working and I'm also making money while working. Don't tell my employer. um, but I'm doing this, and when that money hit my bank account, it was just like I don't want to say how much I'm earning, but I'm going to say that the trading money that came in, it was either I'm not going to say close enough or it was more or less, but let's just say it opened my eyes a lot to
A
like the
significant
potential that's
amount of
here.
money is what it was.
Yeah, exactly that. And I've now, well, yesterday I've now requested my second payout from Apex. It's
Beautiful.
still on pending, so I now know that I'm starting that road of consistency, hopefully. And
Yep.
if you got anyone with Apex knows, once you get to your third month, the fourth month that you request a payout, um, there's no consistency rule and there's no limit on how much you can withdraw. So that's what I'm kind of got my eyes on at the minute, while I also do look at other prop firm accounts, not having all my eggs in one basket. But that's kind of been my journey. Um, uh, I would say like when it comes to learning, guys, anyone here on this Discord can look back at my messages going way back to when I joined, and you can see where I started. If you guys are new here, I was just like one of you. I was just like all of you actually, um, starting the journey, not knowing um what an FVG was, like just not knowing any concepts. So I would definitely say, guys, look back at the chats on this Discord from like when I joined, and you can kind of see like that kind of process evolve. um so yeah, I've got my third topic here, how I use the unicorn model, and then we'll jump on to the next slide.
Hmm.
Any questions, why, or from anyone in the
I
audience?
was gonna say, if you want, we can even just like we'll go through what we're you can go through your slides. We'll do our conversations, and then like towards the end, once we'll start to kind of go through like questions and stuff.
All
Just
right,
so we know,
wicked,
I
wicked.
don't want to get like too thrown off in terms of topics and bounce around too much.
No, totally. Yeah, so just to finish up on the last topic on this slide, how I use the unicorn model. So
Hmm.
um, there's a criteria that Ash follows on his in the model that he uses himself, that he teaches. And he does say that you have to be an independent thinker, take his model and adapt it to your life, adapt it to when suits you to trade and stuff. So for me personally, the model never changes. The stop hunt, the breaker block, that doesn't change. What does change is the times that I want to trade. So um, I sometimes trade London session. Sometimes I used to a lot. I've kind of just trying to focus on New York session. So 9:30 to 12 is my hunting hours. Um, London session, if it depends on the day in the market and what price looks like. So that's kind of like time that I trade. Um, and again, I when I was learning, Ash only looks for FEGs within a break block. He doesn't look for inversion, fair value gaps. He doesn't look for volume imbalances, other PDRAs within the break block. I when I started, not started, but when I got into like my own little like trying to find my own way, I would use inversion fair value gaps. I would use all of these like other PD arrays, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But I've kind of just steered away from that, and I've just kept it as simple as possible. There has to be a fair value gap, nothing else in the displacement of the breaker block for me to be able to call it valid. Um,
Mhm.
so that's my kind of criteria with regards to that. Um, what kind of uh, 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 instruments do I trade on? I used to trade CL. I've kind of broken away from CL a little bit, just because I'm trying to focus again just on a, a single instrument. So NQ
Right. Keep it simple.
for
Yep.
example. Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, that's kind of how I use the unicorn model. Nothing really changes, as I said, from the concept. So with that, I'll jump to the next slide. Yeah, I think this is just a really, really important quote that I have known for some time, and it's pretty much many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. I
Yep.
think in trading, and I can say this for myself, is that I've gone through, I would say maybe 3 or 4 phases where I've wanted to quit. I've wanted to just give up. I've wanted to just pack it in. This isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. And when my friends told me, or no, when I told my friends, I'm doing this, I was like, it's going to work. Like there is just no way this isn't going to work. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to put the effort in to make it work. And that's why you guys are going to go through ups and downs, and you really need to either lock in or have a think, like take a little break, step back, and just think, what is it you want? You have to have goals. You have to have that motivation, that goal to motivate you to be able to make this work. Um, so yeah, I'll go into the next slide.
Yeah, and to touch on that too, I mean, this business specifically, I mean that quote really hits hard because some people, and you and I have discussed this before, where it's like everybody's on their own path, right? Like everybody is going to learn at a different pace. Nobody's going to learn everything on the exact same in the exact same way. Like some people are good at learning one way, like watching videos. Other people are good at learning by back testing, and then also people just pick up on things faster than others. So there could be somebody that learns something in 6 months, and there could be another person that takes 2 years to learn the exact amount of information. It's just it's everybody's on their own is at their own pace, and that quote hits so hard because that person who didn't get it in the six months like the other person, they're at a year and a half, right? They're almost at their 2 year mark when they in theory would start to click, and then they just they just give up because they're like, well, I haven't done this yet, and other people are doing it so much faster than me, so I must be doing something wrong, or I must not be good at it. And it's just about the determination and the discipline and not giving up, right? Like how you said you had 4 periods of time, and like you didn't give up on those 4 periods. Now you're on that the quote unquote fifth period of time, right? Or your fifth, I don't even know
Exactly.
what you call it, like wavelength of experience. And now you're seeing you've seen a payout, and you are already going to see a second payout. So I mean that quote is just, it encompasses trading in such a very nuanced way, because I mean, so many people come and go in this business, and not many people do stick around to start seeing the fruits of their labor.
Exactly that, and I think something that I struggle with. I am quite an emotional person in general, and it
Mm-hmm.
is something that I do battle with on like daily anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into trading, that is probably not a good mix. And I've gone through the emotions, and I still am going through the emotions. And you guys have to understand, just you're gonna see other people succeed, and you might not be there yet, okay, and that's absolutely fine. But the one thing I can stress is not to compare your journey to somebody else's, because
Yep.
trust me, the second you do that, it's going to be I think they call it the joy, the thief of joy,
Mm.
and you're going to spiral. And if you spiral, it's not good
Yep.
at all. So that's really really important with that, and as well, like if you're having a bad day and you're thinking of trading, like you need to have that mental ability to know that this isn't good and you should just step away. And I think that's what really does separate people from being successful. I think people have probably heard this a lot, but it's 80% mindset and 20% chart. It
Yep.
literally is. I, I still struggle with this, guys. I'm as I say, I appreciate how fortunate I am to even get a payout from the market, and like to know that I got a payout um and how I deal with my emotions isn't always great. I'm so thankful for that, but it's something that I have to realize, and every time is that I can't just continue where I am now. Like I need to find a way to get better, so that the mistakes that I've made in the past don't kind of creep up to me, and I don't get comfortable with where I currently am. So I think that's really, really important, guys, to take on.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, and I think this kind of goes back onto like how hard do you guys want it? Like I had multiple kind of conversations in my head thinking like how badly do I want this? Because I got into this, guys, wanting to be able to have that financial freedom, but mainly to be honest because I sold my car at the time and I'm a very big car guy. I wanted to get if anybody you know your cars, I wanted to get a BMW M2, and I can't just like for me, I needed to find a way to make money on the side to afford it. So that's why I got into trading pretty much. So like, how hard did I want trading to work to be able to afford an M2 or put money towards an M2? Um, that's when I just decided, and I said at the beginning, I locked in for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months before I went away to just study. I watched countless videos, long form, short form videos on YouTube. I think I've nearly watched, or pretty much have watched, every video Ash has uploaded to YouTube. Um, there is just so much value in what Ash says in every single video he uploads, whether it's 5 minutes worth of like actual value, if that makes sense, or if it's the whole thing. The whole thing is obviously valuable, but like there's key points that I've seen across his videos
Right. The
where like
gems in the streams is what a
yeah,
lot of people like to
exactly.
call
That's
them.
that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And it just kind of clicks once. Like when you can't figure out what a breaker block is, for example. Um, I was in this Discord asking people, "Is this the breaker block?" Like once it clicks, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's what a breaker block is. Oh, I understand it now."
Right. You
And it's
can't
like you
unsee it.
yeah, exactly. And you unlock it, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm now one step closer to like understanding what I need to look
Yep.
for." Um, so there's a lot of stuff, and I think as well note taking. So in my bedroom, that's where my desk is. Luckily, it's next to my bed. It's kind of a bad thing that it's next to my bed, but um, I have pieces of paper on the wall that I've just taken. I've got some of my trading rules on there. I've got what a bullish bearish breaker looks like, how to determine bias, like stuff like that on the wall. So it's constantly in my face. Um, so that's really important. You guys also, I think, journaling. Actually, I'll skip to that one. That's number 3. We'll get onto that. That's so yeah. Note taking is really important as well, guys. Even if you're watching Ash's any YouTube video, note taking. It's just once you write it down, it's also in your head. I find, for me at least. So yeah, that's really important. And then uh, kind of like you need to be doing back testing. Okay, so this is where people say back testing can be quite bad, and I want to give my reasoning. So back testing, I've stopped back testing. I used to do it a lot. Back testing is great for understanding the unicorn model, the strategy, how to spot it. It's great for that. But the one thing it's lacking is like showing your emotions, like how you're actually going to feel. Because you're just clicking away. That's all you're doing, and you don't feel how you would emotionally feel if it was an actual live trade, and that is the most important thing within trading. So I don't really do any more back testing at all. I haven't done back testing in ages. I started obviously with that. But I think what's really important, and if you're not doing it, you should be doing it now, is forward testing. So it's the same as back testing, but it's on the live market. I don't know if anybody was in a general chat today on CL. I did a forward test. I'm always doing forward tests, and that forward test, for example, today on CL, it was out of the kill zone, guys. And this is another thing about motions. It was outside the kill zone. The setup was there. I could see it, but I didn't. I won't lie. I had the itch to take that trade because it was outside the kill zone, and it looked like a good setup. But I didn't take it because it's not in my criteria to follow. So I didn't take it, and it went 2R. And I don't care that it went 2R. I don't feel like I have to get back into a trade now. I don't feel that. I feel I've done myself a service not doing that, and I am, as Arrow says, 1% better. So that's why, like, you guys should be doing forward testing, I feel, over back testing. And just even that, like, creating notions, like with your back test, like, note them down as if they were real trades, because you're going to have emotions as you forward test. Yes, you're not really going to care what happens, but you'll still have that sense of emotion. So I think that's really important.
Yes, at 100%. And I want to kind of go back to, before we move on, to the thing you said in the beginning where you were talking about how you sold your car and your motivator was you wanted to get the M2, and like that was your mental, that was like your driver for wanting to start creating some type of secondary income, which is what got you into this. And I just wanted to note that you know that's like great, right? Like a lot of people think like you got to have like a certain reason to want to get into trading. Like if your reason is just to like get a new car, right? I mean, anything is a motivator. Anything that's going to motivate you to you know discipline yourself and to put yourself through the process of learning a new skill, like or create a business such as this, right? um
Yeah,
it's like anything is, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it don't I nobody should ever feel selfish, right? For like it being like a material object, right? It doesn't always have to be like, oh, I want my future family to like be set for life, and like I want to give things to my kids, and that's this and that. It's no matter what, if you just, all that matters is you need to set yourself up so that you have the mental capacity to stay disciplined and like push yourself towards a goal, right? Like, because how you're saying you wanted the M2, I mean, look at you now, you're getting payouts, right? It's like it doesn't matter what the reason is. It's just about staying disciplined and keeping your head down and doing what needs to be done. It's like you having that, as simple as it is. It's just like, I want a new car. I mean, like, I love that. It's just like I
yeah.
wanted to go buy this M2, so I'm gonna teach myself how to trade. And now you got a payout, and you're already getting a second payout. It's like that's all it
It,
takes. And then you're going to eventually be able to do, you just keep your head down, you keep doing what you're doing, you don't, you stay the course. You are going to be able to do all of those other things. Like you're going to be able to, set your family up. You're going to be able to like hand money to your kids or whatever, all the like the selfless things, right? That are like, the motivators that a lot of people use. It's like it can be all of the above. It's all encompassing. As long as you have something that is driving you to grow yourself so that you stay disciplined and that you can, take yourself to the next level. That's all that matters. You just need something. You just need a goal. You just need something to point you in that direction, because if you don't have a goal, you have nothing motivating you, then you're going to end up, it's just, you're probably not going to stay disciplined, and you're probably going to fall short, and it's not going to be good. So I just wanted to touch on that because, a lot of people say that it's
yeah,
for their families and this and that. But like you were saying, I just wanted a new car, and that's awesome. Like and it got you to where you are, and you are just going to keep, the projection is upward, right? From here on out, because you're true to like, and this kind of goes to what you were saying later on in the conversation, where you're saying that it didn't meet your criteria. The trade today that you were discussing, it didn't meet
yeah,
all the criteria, and you said it went 2R, and you didn't take it, and you said, I don't care because I stay true to what my model is and how I am going to approach the market. That is all I needed to hear to know that you are going to take this to the next level and you're just going to continue to be successful, because that is the point where that's once you understand the model and once you have that mental discipline that you were touching on there, it's over at that point, because you're just going to stick to your model. You already know what you're doing. You're not going to get emotional. You're not going to take trades that you know you shouldn't be taking. And you're not going to get upset when you miss a trade that goes too hard, because you stuck to your guts and you knew what you needed to do. And even though you could have capitalized and made some money, you know that this is a long-term game and this is a long-term business, and you're not just going to go against your rules just for the sake of wanting to take something even though it doesn't meet all of your criteria. So I mean, love all
Exactly
that.
that. Like to this week, I was up, I was in green this week, and then I had a loss this week, and it was a bit of a stupid loss. But it is what it is, and I'm back at pretty much neutral break even for the weekend. I don't
Yeah.
have that urge to kind of enter anything. I looked at the setup today on NQ. It went 2R, but it didn't give me an entry, and I was all right with that. And that is why it's so important to understand, as Ash says, the market's always going to be here. There's always going to be other
Yes, it is.
opportunities. There really is. Like you could have one really bad day, but the next day you could literally make double what you, for example,
Yep.
what you lost the previous day. And I think it's weird. It's like when you don't take a trade and you actually like know that you followed your criteria, it feels better than a win. Like an actual 2R trade hitting. I can't explain it. I don't know if anyone's
Yep.
had similar. It just feels better. Like you've like it's like mental stimulation. Like it stimulates you, like
Yeah.
you followed something and you didn't take it.
I saw somebody in the chat put it went away because I don't have the chat open, but I believe it said something like what was it, no trade still a dub? Like you didn't take a trade, but you still won. You know what I mean? So it's like
Exactly,
you
yeah.
didn't get it. You didn't get a payout, or you didn't make a successful trade, but you won because you didn't go against your rules. It's like
Exactly.
that in itself feels good, because you're like, yeah, like I'm here to make this a long-term business, and I'm here to I'm not here to gamble my money. I'm here to stay
Yeah,
true to myself and my process.
exactly that. You have to be patient with the process, and then as well, you guys enjoy the process. You guys
Hmm.
might be like learning right now and like struggling. Let's say you're not at your first payout. I'm telling you, enjoy the process that you're currently in, because as soon as you get the model and as soon as you get to like a payout, you're never going to be in the same position that you are now in that process. It might be feeling horrible that you haven't got a payout, but you'll be looking back at the process, the learning process, and you'll be like, yeah, wow, I should have just enjoyed the time that I was in. So like I think that the quote is enjoy the passage of time.
Right. And I can't even tell you how many times myself and Ash, for that matter, it's like you go through the process of learning, right? Like, everybody starts out, everybody has their own path, right? You start out with, it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end up. 6 years ago, I was learning, support and resistant lines, and, just
But
very basic, very, very entry level stuff, and then it just is extremely frustrating. You're not, making any money. And, it works for some people. It didn't work for me, right? And it becomes frustrating, and you just have to keep going until you find something that is going to work for you.
I totally agree. That is literally it. And I think this is when it kind of brings us on to our like third
Hmm.
conversation here on this slide, which is your emotions psychology. And this, guys, is probably the most, as have said before, this is the 80% part that is just so important. And I think everyone in trading says how important it is to journal. If you're not journaling a trade that you've taken, any trade that you've taken, you're doing, I think Ash says, a disservice to yourself. Like in like a week or two, you're not going to remember a trade you took last week in detail. You're not going to remember that. But when you journal it, you can write down your emotions, you can write down how it made you feel, and then you can look back. It's like therapy in a way. You can look back at a progress that you've made, what mistakes you were making. Like if I ask somebody, what, like, okay, so you're not profitable. Okay, so tell me in your journaling, what are all your losses from? What's causing these losses? Like, what are your emotions like in those losses?
Yep.
Because as soon as you spot those like bad stuff that you've journaled, like your emotions or like a setup that was bad, and stuff like that, you can kind of outline, well, you're doing that wrong. You're making that mistake. So stop making that mistake and you
Yeah.
won't have the outcome that you got from that loss. So that's how you have to see it. It's literally journaling is a way of building up a statistic of your whole journey, and then if you're not profitable, you can look at, okay, well, what's my biggest statistic of why I'm having these losses? Well, it seems that after a loss, I go back into a trade.
Mm.
Okay, stop doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why journaling is so important, and risk management. Obviously, risk management is just a no-brainer, guys. I don't think I need to go too much into that. Like, you should be having risk management. You shouldn't be over leveraging. I've been there. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes on some accounts that I had, eval accounts, for example, if I'm not trading one shot, one kill news, I do have these impulses to do it, and it's something I struggle with. I'm not just like a golden star, like brilliant at everything. I really am not. Um, uh, I really am not. And I think with Apex, a lot of people don't necessarily like Apex. Sometimes they think they're a bit dodgy. I'm not here or say whatever, but Apex are really good at forcing traders to be consistent. They are really good. I don't feel like, I don't know about Top Step. I can only really speak for my funded futures,
Mhm.
um, Apex stuff. So I'll just say Apex, but they really force you with their rules to be consistent. And I feel like that is actually why I got a payout with them and I haven't got a payout from anyone else, is because I know I can't make more than 30% total because of their consistency rule.
Right.
And my contract sizing has to be not the same, but it has to be within, like, I would say on average the same. So there's that thing in my mind. Well, if I break that, then I'm not getting a payout. Um, so that's why Apex, I feel, is great if you are a beginner. I would honestly say Apex is great for that, because it really does force you to think about, when you're placing a trade, should I be placing this? Um, and especially with their 10 trading days that they have, I found that trading once a day to meet those 10 days, even if you lose, is the best way to go. Don't get me wrong, I've had some days where I've taken a loss and I've taken a second trade. I have done that, and as I said, I'm not a golden star, guys. So I
Nobody's
think that that's
perfect.
quite
Everybody's human. So, it's
exactly.
nobody will ever do everything perfectly to a T forever.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll go on to the next slide, and I think this is two. I've kind of touched on the first one, the mistakes, but like I'll still go over it. I think this is also a really, really important topic. Um, Mistakes. So once you guys understand that understand your mistakes, and you understand that you need to stop doing those mistakes, that is the moment you will get a different result, and that result could potentially be for the better. I would say make the mistake twice. Make the mistake twice. That third time, where you could potentially make that mistake again, you need to not be doing it. The third time, you have to quit making the mistake on the third time and onwards. I feel like the first mistake kind of outlines, okay, that was bad. The second time, oh, I've fallen into a bad habit again. I've done that mistake. And then you need to realize to stop making that mistake. It's with anything in life, to be honest.
Yeah.
You need to just stop. And once you understand that if you take that mistake out of the equation, you're removing a factor, whether it's in your life, whether it's in trading, and that will give you a different result. If that even just means that you're taking, I don't know, 4 trades in a day, which was, I mean, I sometimes do, not on Apex, I don't, but on other accounts that I've had, I've taken God knows how many trades. I've taken trades that aren't even the unicorn model, just to try and meet a profit target on an eval. Like I've been there. I sometimes still do it. And you're not going to obviously stop every mistake you make. It's just impossible. But the best you can do is reduce the amount of mistakes you're repeating.
Right.
Um, Especially, and you have some bad mistakes and you have some less bad mistakes. So find the bad mistakes that you're making and stop doing that, or try and stop doing it. Just try to be that 1% better. And I think this second point kind of just speaks why we're all here. We all seek like mentorship from Ash, from other people as well, and I think that is just honestly the most valuable thing that you can do. Um, I don't think if it was for Ash's like YouTube channel, I don't think it would have forced me to create my own YouTube channel. I created that channel to kind of force myself to give full transparency to people of how I trade, and that forced myself when I started trading on the Apex accounts to trade as if I was being watched.
Yeah, hold
And
yourself accountable in the public eye. Yeah.
exactly, and it really did. That was, I would say, that was my turning point, starting that YouTube channel. And I would say anyone here, start a YouTube channel. Force yourself to put yourself in the public eye. If you don't feel comfortable with it, fair enough. But when you force yourself, it's like if you are working like your job in real life in life, and your boss was behind you, like you wouldn't be on Discord. You would be working. You'd be doing something, wouldn't you? And that's what YouTube for me. What I'd done was like I'd upload recording sessions. I'd start a series, and hold myself accountable that what I'm uploading has to be uploaded tomorrow for today's session, for example. And I knew that was because that was in the back of my head. I would only take the unicorn model setups. I wouldn't enter a trade just because there's a fair value gap there,
Right.
for example, or something like that. So yeah, that was, I would say, a big turning point for me when I started that. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next slide. I think it's the last one, to be honest. I think that's it. Yeah, so finishing off, and then we'll get into questions, I think, if that's all right.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, wicked. So I thought it would be it would be a bit rude not to kind of sum up my experience at Ash Capital, Ash's Discord, his premium as well. So I kind of start off with the free Discord, the one we're in now. It's where I started. I have never been one to pay for any sort of mentorship, like for a course, for example, unless it was for something to do with work, obviously. Um, I've never been one to do that, and I've always been kind of skeptical about uh, courses and stuff, especially within forex, especially around whole forex on social media and stuff. I was very skeptical of the things that I've heard,
Yeah. You never
and
know.
exactly, and I joined the free Discord, and the free Discord, this Discord was great. I think it still is amazing. I'm not saying it's not. Um, and I never went to the premium until I think maybe last month, but it's been amazing. I've met a lot of people on the Discord. I've been able to speak to a lot of people, who have helped me as well. There's been a lot of people since I've joined that have helped me. There's just so much support within the community here. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to be successful with their trading, and it's just brilliant. Day in, day out, there's people active. It's just brilliant. And I think the way the whole Discord is structured is amazing. It's a really like homey kind of community kind of feeling that I get from it. So it's really good. And then yeah, I saw that there was a sale on Ash's premium on this Discord. Obviously, he announced it, and I was just like 50% off. Why not? Like, come on, it's not gonna. I was just like, kind of screw it. I'm gonna see what is it all about. And I didn't even know that it was a separate Discord. I thought it was just like it unlocks like a hidden place on this
Right.
Discord. I didn't understand. I didn't even know that there was also a like a
An
the mentorship
entirely
videos.
new, like, yeah. Oh, right. The mentor in the WAP,
Uh,
you're saying the mentorship and all
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I didn't even know about that. I thought it was just a hidden side on this Discord, like a
Right.
hidden chat. I
Right.
literally thought it was just another general chat, and that was it. I didn't really understand. I thought that was it, and then when I paid for it, I kind of said link to a Discord or something, and then I saw a whole new Discord, and I was like, whoa, whoa.
You're like, hold
And
on
it,
now. This is a lot more than I thought that this was.
yeah, exactly that, and I was just blown away with like the whole how it again was structured, the Discord. It's like you got the community bits are the same, the general chat's the same, but then you have the sections where you've got your analyst, you've got like Arrow, you've got Eat More Chicken, Jimmy. Sorry if I don't remember, don't mention any others, and you've got Ash's own section. It's just like you've got the threads that you have of all the different uh the pairs. You've got the personal threads from the actual community, the actual people that are in it, and it's again holding them yourself um accountable
Mm-hmm.
to show others on the Discord who like what you're doing. And it was just like a whole different community. But the thing was, it kind of like it took out the noise from this Discord. Um, there's going to be new people that join this Discord who were where what I was, who don't really understand the model,
Right.
and the premium kind of just um it removes the noise and it brings the people that kind of understand the model, and so forth. And I should have said at the beginning, in no way, guys, am I affiliated with Ash or anything or getting paid to say any of this. This is genuinely from the bottom of my heart, like just the honest truth. I am just as transparent with anything that is just how I want to be. I'm not really holding back anything. Um, and I would have to say, if you've got the cash laying around, try it for a month. Try it for 1 month. You don't have to renew it, obviously, but try it. And for me personally, I just don't see myself, and I know how I'm going with trading. I don't see myself stopping my own, like making payments for that, because I find so much value within it. More, like it's just so much better. So that's my kind of experience with the free Discord and the paid Discord. I feel like it is definitely a way to elevate um, your learning journey, especially with Ash's live sessions. It's very different. It's more focused on like the people that are in there. Like you feel like kind of one to one with it, rather than being on the public YouTube and your question might get missed or something. Ash really does, and that's something I have noticed. He answers everything. If you have a question, he's there, and he's always in the general chat as well on that Discord. So it's really good to see, and yeah, definitely check it out. But yeah, I think that's my experience on that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, like I'm glad that you touched on this as well, because like how you were saying, it is obviously the goal for premium is for there to be less noise and for it to feel like it is more of a one-on-one type of experience where, or just it's a smaller community, there's less noise, you feel like you really do have, obviously people, Matt is, in the original Discord as well, obviously, but obviously over there it's like you can really get like a one-on-one, like conversation going with just you and him. Like
Exactly.
there is like even the which you didn't mention, not that it matters, but there's like another section for like the questions, right? And people will create like their own
Oh yeah.
thread for like so you have like a literal question like thread with just you and Ash and Jimmy Chicken Arrow, like all of the guys. um and yeah, I'm also glad that everybody always brings up the personal threads, which we all love the personal threads, because it is really just like you get to hold yourself accountable, right? Not that like everybody's constantly reading everybody's personal threads, but it is like a public way to hold yourself accountable and to promote journaling, like how we were
Yeah.
discussing earlier. It's like journaling is such an important thing. And I know that there are a lot of people that are in there that started journaling it like through the personal threads, and then that transitioned into like them doing it because like it's keeping them accountable and it's like helping them actually develop the skill set. Obviously on top of like everything else, right? It's just like, there is so much value in there. And that is like the goal of the premium, is just to like, take the education to the next level, which obviously, we do. There is the
Yeah.
Unicorn
It's
University that's coming out soon too. So like then that's like going to be I don't know if I mean, there is like a bunch of posts that Matt made publicly about it, but it's really going to be a hand holding experience of like the model to try to get people who like how you said, there's a lot of people that are in there are a lot of people that are in there do know the model, they get it, right? They might
yeah.
not, maybe they don't understand it perfectly and that's why they're there or whatnot. Everybody's at a different level, but people generally understand it when they're joining, because like they came here, they learned something, they wanted to get more involved and take a deeper dive into it. And the Unicorn University is what is going to, that's like the tipping point for like anybody that is having any sort of issues. Maybe it's like there's only a handful of things that they just like don't have quite down yet. And that's just a whole nother thing that's like going to get, that's just so much more value that's going to get added. I'm so excited to like be releasing some of the stuff. I know I kind of went on a tangent, but I'm really excited to get the university up and running. We're working hard on that, so
I'm
I'm really
excited to
excited.
see. I'm excited to see where it goes because, as I say, like it is. So I, honest, for me personally, everyone's always going to have their own experience, but my experience is I feel like it's beneficial. I don't know, like I got my first payout being in like while I was part of premium,
Right.
so I I could happily say like it was part of that journey that led to my first payout. I can't disregard that. So yeah, that really sums it up for me.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're trying to do over there. It's like we want everybody to feel like we are constantly putting value into our community. It's we're always striving to like add something new, bring something new to the table. And then
Wicked.
obviously you among the other guys that we've had on the stage and like all the future people that we bring on, you know, there's nothing better than seeing all of you guys succeed. Like, especially, hearing your story. It's like you're 22, you came in, you learned, the model, you took it to the next level, you joined the premium, now you're getting payouts in like such a short period. I mean, it's not short, but like not, some people, they're doing it for 10 years and then they finally get a payout, right? It's like you did it in at such a young age in the grand scheme of things. You have done it in such a short amount of time and you just have you have so much time to continue growing. I mean, I'm 31, so I'm an old man compared to you, and you're just starting out, and you're already getting payouts, and it's just there's nothing better than knowing that like the people in the community are just seeing success. I just love it. But I guess let's jump into a couple questions. I don't know if you looked through them and found something you wanted to answer or
Um, I will have a quick. I haven't actually been looking. Otherwise, I get distracted. I get quite
I
distracted
know,
quite
me too.
easily.
That's I typically have it like I have it minimized for
Yeah.
the most part typically too.
Um. So yeah, guys, if you have questions, just put them in the chat, please. I'll do my best to go up. Uh, do you remember how many trades you took to reach your 3,000 $3,000 payout? Do I remember how many trades I took to reach it? The amount of trades that I took, I could probably look at Trade of 8, going back to when I took it. The amount I'm not sure. When I actually, so this is how it kind of happened with that account, that 250k account. The first like 3 trades I think were complete losses. The first 3 trades were complete losses, and I only traded, I think it was once a day from what I can remember. Maybe one day I traded like twice and made a bit of profit back, but um, yeah, I was in drawdown from the get go, and then I built it up, and then by the 12th trading day, that's when I requested my first payout. So I hope that answers that. Can you please take us through NQ risk management? Because on the 5-minute time frame, when I trade minis and I take a loss, I hit the daily loss limit with just one trade. So that I think is quite a big conversation to be had. I feel I can link you some YouTube videos, some good information where you can kind of get a better understanding of that because you've got minis and micros, and then you've got, I don't even know what size account you have, so it really depends.
There's so many aspects to it.
Yeah, I agree. Premiums are so much more. Yep. This is my second one. Nice, Kira. Uh, don't know if anyone asked if anyone asked this, but how much do you risk? Like, how many trades can you lose in a row before losing your funded? I usually risk $200 on a funded, 20 losing trades in a row before losing an account. So I have a, I'll share this after the stream. So I have a Google Sheet, and I'll give my Apex account, my PA account, as an example. So you have $6,500 as your drawdown when you start. Um, I kind of have a more riskier profile, so I like to risk a bit more than the normal person to get more reward. Um, so with my PA account, my max risk will be $980. Sometimes it might be $800. It depends on the setup. Sometimes my risk when I take a trade, um, I don't want it above 980, so it could be less. It could be like $880, and so forth. So that's the max I would risk. I think it's 0.5% of the 1% of the max drawdown that I risk. Because you might have a 250k account, but 1%, I don't risk 1% of the account. My risk is the drawdown. So I risk my drawdown. So 50% basically of the $6,500 drawdown you have. So it's about 7 trades, I think, until you blow the account, or maybe 6.
I do see a couple more coming in here. I got you said you trade London session. Do you use 1 minute or 5 minute time frame for entry since it's a lower volume compared to New York session?
Great question. So I've traded both the 5 minute and the 1 minute before. Um, when I started out, it was literally the 5 minute, and then when I saw the potential on the 1 minute, I kind of not really traded the 5 minute at all. So in New York and London session, I'm always doing the 1 minute entries. 5 minute entries are quite rare for me. Um, it depends if the setup never changes. You guys have to understand. So if everything aligns, the 5 minute, if it aligns, then it's the setup, as I said, doesn't change as long as you've got a clear draw on liquidity. So it's really dependent. I mean, when I started out, I couldn't read the 1 minute, and I was always told, look at the 15 minute. It really clears the picture. Um, but as you go in with your like learn, you kind of begin to understand what all the noise on the 1 minute is doing. I sometimes look at the 5 minute quite a lot to understand why the 1 minute might be doing something, because on the 5 minute you might have an FEG somewhere, and you can kind of picture like what's happening a little bit. But I don't mix time frame alignments when I enter. That's important. Don't get
Right,
that
that
mixed up.
is key right there. I was about to say you do not mix the time frame alignments. You never do that.
Exactly. I like for me, my experience, like the 4 hour, for example, for daily buy. Like I always go into the day, starting on the daily to get my normal daily bias. But I will use the 4 hour if I'm using the 1 minute entry to also see what my daily bias for the 4 hour is. But I've also found that there's been times where the 4 hour hasn't really given me a bias. It's not really at a location, but 15-minute market structure says something else. Um, so yeah, you got to see what works for you guys. Um, next question. What instrument do you have the best win rate on? I will put into the chat this is my uh, trading so far after my payout, my first payout. So this is everything from that's led to, I think, my current account. As you can see, it's NQ at the minute. I don't really tap into anything else at the minute. I just love NQ.
I'd say
So yeah,
the premium Discord loves NQ too. That's their bread and butter. That's the most conversation is around NQ. And yeah, see it like even Ash just talking about NQ is Bay. That was one thing that
yeah.
that I didn't even think about. Like as we develop the premium server is that the threads for the individual charts to keep everything organized and clean so that people can review stuff. It you can tell which one is the most popular because it has the most messages in it, and NQ by far takes the cake. I mean, it is not even close, which I found to be interesting as it's progressed.
Yeah, I used so I actually with my first payout, I think my first payout I was also trading like CL. I actually when I was trading CL, CL was beautiful. I found CL would give you entries like most of the time, like some of the times, with no drawdown. Like that one I put in the general chat today, there was no drawdown. It was entry and drop, and that's also why I love futures.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's just brilliant. Um, so yeah, like CL, but I'm not really focusing on CL because I'm finding that I like to just be focused on ES and NQ,
Right.
using ES for like SMT diversion stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but yeah, next question. You said you trade. You've already said that one. If you win one trade, do you generally stop or keep going for a second on the day? One trade and done. If I win a trade, on like in one day, I'm pretty much done. Um, that's what I tell myself. It really depends on the setup. You might have an A plus setup. That's the thing. This is when it comes down to you as an individual if you want to do it. I don't think I've taken a win and then gone back into a trade. I have taken a loss, and this I have broken my rule. If you look at that, um, one of my rules uh, in that Notion screenshot where I had a loss in London, but then I had a win later in New York session. I kind of broke a rule there. Um, so it's sunk to reflect, but it's not.
I will say though,
Yeah,
you may
it's
have broken.
questionable.
I was gonna say you may have broken a rule, but I will say that like to your own to your credit, right? It's like you said, it was London Open, I believe, right, and then New York Open. So the they are pretty far apart in terms of you know the time, right? It's not like you just had a trade, got out, immediately jumped into another trade. So to your credit, it wasn't like an immediate back-to-back trade.
Yeah,
But it is good that obviously hold yourself accountable by stating I went against my rules. Even though some people might not be able to own up to that, right? And it's like we discussed this earlier in the conversation. Nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes. It doesn't. We're only human. So it's just about like Kelly mentioned, just holding yourself accountable, which you obviously are. And then, like I said, to your credit, they weren't back to back trades, so it wasn't like you were on this like super
exactly that. Yeah,
emotional trading bender, right? You like there was a gap between the two, a
exactly
sizable
that. And
gap.
I think as well, like the reason why I entered it was the model was there, it presented itself, and I had other confluences like SMT at the highs,
Hmm.
and I thought, okay, this is looking good. And funny enough, it took me out, it swept the liquidity once more, and then it just dumped. And I was all right with that. I didn't have that FOMO of also getting back in. Like the idea was there, it was correct. It was just unlucky that it just didn't work.
Right.
The model was not a 100% success rate.
Right.
Obviously, everyone's emotions differently,
The market
but the
can
idea
and
was
will
there.
do whatever it wants.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you mind sharing this as a template we could use for ourselves? I have it listed somewhere, but I will at the end um, share it. I'll put it in the general, and think also Tiny. I'll send over that stuff, that document. I think that video. Sorry. How do you determine your daily buys for London? Because it's usually a Judas swing for the New York session. Um, I try not to think what London does and then like think what New York will do. I just look at what price, like where it is currently. Um, and I used to wake up for New York Open, London Open, sorry. I don't do that anymore. I do try skip London. It just happens to be that London obviously closes at 10 a.m. my time in the UK, the kill zone, and I'm at my desk from 9. I wake up at just after 8 a.m. So I'm at my desk by about 8:30, 8:45, 9ish. So that's when I am looking at the charts, and if I see something, then uh, I will potentially take something. So that's why I kind of trade London. Really, I don't really trade it if that makes sense. I hope that answers that. I think there's concepts as well like AMD, like if Asia's going to accumulate and London is known for manipulation. It really depends what market structure is, where it is, if you've got no news. Like there's so many factors that play into it. Um, so there's that. How do you approach economic calendar trading London session on NQES? Um, I think in general, when I start the day, I'm always looking at, or when the week starts even, I'm always looking at what days I am and am not looking really to trade, like what looks like a day to trade and what doesn't. So as everyone knows, Mondays, uh, everyone should understand that every day is a trading day, but like you obviously want to target the days that are going to be higher probability. So a Monday with no news is known to be low probability, but it's not saying that you're not going to have a setup within Monday. Monday sometimes with no news moves a lot, sometimes it doesn't. That's why you kind of be objective with price. Uh, I every day, no matter what, if I'm planning on not trading it, I still look at the charts. Um, does that answer that sort of question?
I think so.
I think as well, it's like if there's red folder news for London, same as New York, I'm waiting for that red news to come out before entering a trade. If there's red news, for example, in New York, but nothing in London, um, and you enter a trade in London and you want to hold that, which I've done before for New York session. I've even got it on the YouTube channel. I think it ran like 11R on one of my accounts that I ended up blowing. Jeez, I wish I did not blow that account. Um, God, that would have been like an 8 grand. I even put it on the premium. I think it would have been I think it was a £10,000 or £8,000 payout I was gonna get
Jeez.
if I just waited the days on my funded futures and I blew it. And that was really hard as well, guys. That was really hard to swallow. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, like you could hold a trade in London, I feel, for that red news and just potentially see what happens. Maybe go break even before the news if it's far away from your entry. That's my personal how I like if I was to. I think it's like swing trading, isn't it? Um, I don't know if that counts as swing trading, but that's kind of my thought process. I have quite a high risk profile. Um, I just like more reward, so that's just me personally. Do you utilize IP? I don't even know what that is. I have no idea what an IPDA is. Anyway, Dwight, do you know what that is? I have no idea what an IPDA. I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. Sorry, mate. And that's another thing. Just you guys got to keep it simple. Um, understand swing points. Understand fair value gaps. Um, understand SMT. Understand what a breaker block is. What displacement looks like. Those are that's all you need. That is literally all you need. And then you obviously have like market structure, like those important that basic fundamental stuff that you need to understand. Um, that stuff. But really, when it comes to concepts, you just keep it simple. Um, keep it simple.
Let's we'll do one more question. We'll do Kim Vesco's question, and then we'll start to wrap it up there, just so you know
Wicked,
we can call it there. We'll wrap it up. Let's
wicked.
see. He's got
You,
yeah. Oh yeah. He's very straightforward too. You started to share how you trade the unicorn, but we got sidetracked as we do. Could you finish that? Could we finish the thought on how you trade the unicorn, like in your for you personally?
how I trade it? It's kind of a confusing one because, like, as I say, the criteria never changes. I think how I trade it is that I will wait, for example, New York session. Um, I'd want to see where price is currently located. So a lot of people will want to see. I think market structure. I think go to your bias, then go to your market structure time frame, see where price is, and if you have that time frame alignment, um, some people like wait for a CSD. It's nice to wait for a CSD. I haven't always waited for a CSD before I've entered um, my like a trade myself. Um, but I think I don't really know the best way to answer it really how I trade the unicorn. Like, is there something I'm missing? Like anything you could fire at me, White? Any?
I mean, like, no, it's, I mean, it's, I guess, right. It's just like straightforward, I guess, right. We might have got off track, but, it, 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 uh, it's just the concepts, right? I mean, I'm assuming that what you do is you follow the same straightforward model that everybody else follows, right? Like that Matt teaches, that what he's got on
Exactly. Yeah.
YouTube, what he's got on the in the premium courses, what he's got, like, all what we have all over everywhere, all over this community. I'm assuming that the way you approach it is very, very, very similar to the way that it is taught to the community, and without many changes. Like,
Exactly.
there's not many, right? I mean, it's pretty much as straightforward as, like, you could go watch the YouTube videos, or watch any of the premium content, and just right from there just understand exactly how you yourself are going to go about the trade with the
Exactly
unicorn
that.
model.
And I also think I haven't actually mentioned this is like when I'm in a trade, especially on the 1 minute, um, I understand supply and demand zones. If anybody knows what they are, basically just order blocks, pretty much. Um, but like when I'm on the 1 minute time frame and I'm in a trade, I am managing it in a way where like I will use a potential order block um, uh, within the 1 minute, within like the leg down to my 2R, and I'll mark out like 50%, like TT trades, if anybody knows who he is. If you watch his videos on order blocks and you mark out like 50% of an order block and it gets respected, it kind of gives you insight. Okay, we're going to go lower, and if it gets disrespected and you have a break of structure within your like 2R, like your entry to 2R, you can kind of understand. Okay, we might not be going to or we might have a doji candle. Like for a trade I got greedy with this week, it wasn't really a doji candle. It was kind of a indecisive candle, but it reversed. And at some points you can kind of spot that and know where price potentially wants to go. So like within the unicorn model, that's kind of what I'm also doing when I'm trading,
Right,
managing my trade basically.
right, right. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Just we're going for a little bit over an hour now, so I don't want to keep you too long. But I want to again thank you for coming on and sharing your experience and your knowledge with everyone, and thank you for even putting together a little PowerPoint for everybody to kind of use as a visual. That was also awesome. Um, and yeah, man, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. You're obviously an extremely valued person in the community. I mean, there's so many people that we have yet to even bring on here, but you're just one of many extremely valued members of the community. Everything that you bring to the table is fantastic. I mean, just your experience alone of just being so young and jumping into this and then trying out the premium and then really after that point taking it to the next level, getting payouts. I mean, seriously inspiring, especially to people who might be young, like around your age, right? That are in here thinking,
Yeah,
that they might not be getting it or whatever. It doesn't always have to be somebody who's like retired and has a business and like just kind of like learn this for the first time. It's everybody in every age group has to start somewhere, and just you having your goal of looking to get a car and turning that into a payout, right? Like that's seriously inspiring. So I want to thank you for coming on. And is there anything else that you'd like to say to the people before we wrap this up?
I'd say thank you a lot. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, White. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up on here and kind of show people that if I can do it, kind of anyone can do it. There really is it. The limiting factor is how far you want to take this. So I really do appreciate that from you guys. So thank you.
Absolutely, of course, man. So I hope everybody enjoyed this stream. We are going to get it up on YouTube in case you guys down the road want to check it out. We should probably be getting this up hopefully by the end of the day on YouTube. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. It will be going up shortly though. So thank you everyone for stopping by. Taking the time out of your day to come listen to our boy Jack over here. I hope everybody got some one of his many aliases. I hope that you guys got some really good value out of this. I mean, I know I did. Every time we bring you guys on, I'm always just like genuinely inspired. I know that I speak for myself and many other people, but I really hope that these conversations actually do really get through to somebody who might be at the point where they're ready to give up and then they don't give up and then they turn it around and start seeing some whether it's a payout or just some development in their own skill set. Like that's why we do this. We want everybody to just feel like they're able to take this to the next level. And
Yes, but exactly.
yeah, we like bringing you guys on because you guys are the product of everything that we're doing in this community. So but yeah, so I hope that everybody has a great weekend. Depending on where you're at, you might be close to, it might be the end of your Friday, or it might be the halfway through your Friday, depending on where you're listening from. But I hope everybody has a great Friday, has a great weekend. We will be doing another student stage, 2 weeks from now. That's what our schedule has been. We're doing these every 2 weeks here in the public server. So yeah, that being said, I think that's it. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We will be in the Discord. Obviously, if anybody has questions, for Jack, feel free to add him right, in the community. Um, he's been answering questions in the community, so I know he's not going to stop because he's just he's got a lot of great info to give you guys. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and yeah, thank you for doing that as well. To being just helping people in the community. Everybody that helps everybody in the community, we see you. So we
No,
greatly
100%.
appreciate you.
Like I was there once. I was, asking these sort of questions, but annoying people because I
Yep.
didn't understand something. I've been there, guys. I've been there.
All right. Well, again, thank you, man. Seriously, appreciate you coming on and being a part of the community. And thank you, everybody, for tuning
Thank you.
in. We will see you guys in 2 weeks and have a good rest of your day.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.